This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday, the 4th day of February in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Opposition Member of Parliament and spokesman on legal affairs Roysdale Ford today criticized the government for its management of the country. And he has also raised concern about what he sees as a return of extrajudicial killings in Guyana. Contributing on the final day of the budget debates, Mr. Ford said citizens have witnessed and experienced the rapid deterioration of the social and economic conditions over the past year due to poor leadership. He said since August of 2020, Guyana has descended into a state of disarray and is currently an undemocratic, oppressive petro-republic.
The Guyanese people are under attack by a series of labor violations which are aimed at the working people who have perceived to be supporters of the opposition and trade unions that represent these workers.
He observed that the government has been operating in a high-handed nature by its failure to consult when necessary with unions, commissions, and other relevant bodies.
They refuse to engage in consultation with the Guyana Teachers Union. They refuse to grant living wages for the teachers and for allowances for additional qualification for teachers. They refuse to constitute, Mr. Speaker, refuse to constitute the police, the public, judicial and teaching service commissions. The life of the Teaching Service Commission has expired in February 2021. The consequence of this, Mr. Speaker, is that no teacher can be promoted. Legitimate expectations of promotions are dashed.
Additionally, Senior Counsel Ford raised concern about what he sees as a seeming return of extrajudicial killings in the country. He told the Assembly that between August of 2020 to present, 3 persons were killed extrajudicially. But the killing of Owen Boston, he said, is one which is important to note.
Rather than Guyana Police Force protecting Owen Boston safely in his home, he was shot in his home, on his bed, next to his wife. Next to his wife. Mr. Speaker, without explanation, months and months rolled by without a word from the Guyana Police Force. Maybe the Honorable Attorney General wishes to object to that also. The eventual institution of a charge of manslaughter against a policeman who allegedly would have shot and killed this man is not only an insult to the Boston family, but is a national embarrassment and disgrace.
He also highlighted other police killings since the return of the PPP to office, along with the handling of the murder probe of the Henry cousins. And he said that Guyana has regressed to the dark days. More news coming up in just a moment.
Hello, 31. Yes, 3-1. Almost off the calendar. For more than 3 decades, GTT has reliably connected this nation with innovative technology, products, and services. So we gotta celebrate in a major way. 31 prizes, 31 lucky winners. When you enter our promotion from January 20th to February 7th, simply top up $1,000 or more with MMG. Purchase a handset or SIM. Pay your GTT bill or activate any data bundle or plan for a chance to win a trip for 4 to the Rupinuni, free Amazon gift vouchers, free grocery vouchers, free food vouchers, dinner vouchers, top-up vouchers, MMG credit, and free family gym memberships. Hello, 31. Together we connect. Together we celebrate with GTT and win.
Guyana's 2022 International Energy Conference and Expo, under the theme Charting a Sustainable Energy Future, will be hosted at the Guyana Marriott from the 15th to the 18th of February 2022. Meet and engage with energy leaders from around the world. The conference will feature addresses from His Excellency President Irfan Ali, His Excellency Vice President Bharat Jagdeo, Honorable Prime Minister Mark Phillips, His Excellency Chandrika Prasad Santoki, Honorable Prime Minister Mia Motley, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, and many other highly esteemed speakers. Charting a Sustainable Energy Future, Guyana's 2022 International Energy Conference and Expo.
Shop on Fazero today and get up to 35% off. We have thousands of new items in stock, from TVs to smartphones, from blenders to entire outfits. You can find practically anything on Fazero.com. With online payments and same-day delivery, it's convenience like never before. Fazero, Guyana's premier e-commerce marketplace.
Smash Screen Guyana, February 13th, 15th, 19th, and 20th. Watch out for this.
People may forget the present you bought for them, but they'll never forget your scent. Find your signature fragrance at Elite Fragrances and Trade-In, located at 123 Region Road Border between Ornock Street and Shiv Chandapal Drive. Call 619-5151 or 227-1255. Get a designer fragrance for yourself or loved one that they will never forget.
Mobile Dalvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Dalvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
come
full
get
color.
Your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
Turning now to security matters. Opposition Member of Parliament with responsibility for the security sector, Gita Chandan Edmond, has condemned the government for using the Cybercrime Act for going after its critics, saying that was never the original intention of the legislation. She told the Assembly today that the argument that the Act was passed under the coalition is outdated. According to the Opposition Member of Parliament, the coalition had intended to use the Act to stop child pornography, the sharing of nude photos without permission, and the use of electronic devices for terrorist activities. She said the government appears to be using the same Act to settle political scores.
It was never envisaged to be used to protect thin-skinned snowflakes in the government from emotional abuse and trauma because they are subject to public critique and ridicule.
Since the PP Civic has taken office, the Cybercrime Act has been used several times by the police to go after political opponents and critics of the government, the opposition has noted. The Member of Parliament, who is an attorney and former magistrate, said Guyanese are now living in fear because of the manner in which the government utilizes the Cybercrime Act and monitors social media to go after persons who would say things not favorable to the government. She recalled that under the coalition, freedom of speech was practiced and no one was arrested for sharing their views, irrespective of how disrespectful some of those views were.
We call on the government to stop abusing the Cybercrime Act. We want to return to the simple pleasure of posting our views, our candid views on social media in a very candid way and in a very responsible way also.
She said the use of the Cybercrime Act sank to a new low when it was used to go after a cartoon character.
The only solution, Mr. Speaker, is to ensure that you have your ID cards waiting and ready to return the APNU AFC government to power so that we can return to the glory days of freedom of speech.
Several persons have been arrested and charged under the Cybercrime Act in recent months. In some of those cases, government officials were the ones filing police complaints claiming emotional distress. Well, despite a series of recent fires, with many of them being blamed on arson, the Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson Bent, told the National Assembly that the prevalence of fires is actually on the decline in the country. On the issue of the fire that gutted the Brigdan police station, the minister said it was arson, and he rejected calls by the opposition for an independent probe.
In spite of all that has been said in Guyana, Serious crime has been reduced by 20%. Serious crime has been reduced by 20%. The instance of fires has been reduced by 30%. What is different now is that there are arson attacks on government buildings, particularly police stations.
A man who was being held in the lockups for suspicion of armed robbery was later charged with setting that Brickdown police station fire. The man has denied the accusations. Turning his attention to the current situation in the country with crime, the Home Affairs Minister said serious crimes are on the decline and the country's security situation is on a firm footing.
Here it is, they want inquiries into the arson of the Brickdown police station, which has forced us to spend as a beginning, as a first tranche, $400 million to build a new multi-story, multi-level, modern facility. But we wish we would have had that $400 million to spend on other things for our security in the country, rather than having now to build that facility. But we will do it. We will do it.
Additionally, the Minister of Home Affairs told the National Assembly that for the first time in more than 16 years, the country saw less than 100 road deaths in a single year. As it relates to narco-trafficking, he said the fight to intercept illegal drugs as well as illegal firearms has been intensified. Minister Ben announced that there will be a new initiative called Increasing the Peace in Guyana, which will target persons leaving prisons and re-entering the society. That program, he said, will see prisoners being fully reformed before their re-entry into society. In responding to concerns about the delay in the hosting of local government elections, Minister of Local Government Nigel Dharamlal assured the National Assembly today that local government polls will take place this year. During his budget presentation, Mr. Dharamlal said the government believes in democracy and the choices of citizens and will therefore be ensuring that the elections take place this year. He said the Guyana Elections Commission will be receiving billions of dollars in the budget, and some of that money will go towards the hosting of the local government polls. The opposition APNU AFC raised concerns about the lack of specific reference to the hosting of the elections during the budget presentation. The opposition has also indicated that there is no clear reference in terms of the allocation to GCOM about local government elections. The local government elections were scheduled for last year, but the Elections Commission was not prepared for those elections after it terminated the contracts for the Chief Election Officer and his deputy and started a search for their replacements. So far, only a new Chief Election Officer has been hired. Several other key positions at the Elections Commission remain vacant. The leader of the Liberty and Justice Party and Joint the List representative in the National Assembly, Lennox Schumann, has commended the government on its 2022 budget, indicating that under the budget he believes that the country's indigenous people will see a better life. The opposition MP applauded the government in its move to support more hinterland projects while looking out for the welfare of the indigenous people.
Regardless of who sits in the big house, the government at the end of the day is the government. It is a superstructure that needs urgent recalibration in order to offer meaningful support to the indigenous peoples and all Guyanese. Whether I take credit or not, well, let's just say that I won't. But what I will say is that I'm happy to know that my words have not gone unheard. That the government took that initiative to recalibrate that superstructure and plan a delivery for the people as represented in Budget 2022.
Mr. Schumann said when good initiatives are unveiled by the government, those initiatives ought to be commended.
I said we have to give Jack his jacket. And at this juncture, I compliment the government for putting forth a very robust infrastructural development plan for Guyana. I say that because I understand, and my colleagues understand. And I say my colleagues, even though they sit on this side, they may look at me with, I'd say, some apprehension, But we all understand.
And in explaining the basis for his support of the budget measures, the Member of Parliament, who is also a government advisor on aviation, pointed to the new access roads that will be built, connecting the hinterland to the mainland and coast. He applauded the government for focusing on community development and the farming communities of the hinterland. He said the work must begin now if Guyana is to truly emerge as the Dubai of the Caribbean.
But Dubai didn't transform overnight, not at a flip of a switch. It required responsible and responsive fiscal management, infrastructural development and planning, human capital, an economic plan. All of these things go hand in hand. So, Mr. Speaker, when people talk about us suffering to be the new Dubai, it didn't happen overnight.
The Liberty and Justice Party leader said he fully supports the budget and its measures, and he believes that all Guyanese should do the same. One day after he made a dash for his freedom from the Lusignan jail, 18-year-old robbery accused Kevin Singh was recaptured this afternoon in the Good Hope cane fields on the east coast of the Demerara, with his feet still shackled. The man was found in a swampy section of the cane fields by members of the joint services, who received information that he might have been hiding out in the area. The youth was arrested and taken back to the prison without incident. He will now face a charge of escaping lawful custody. Singh was remanded to jail back in December on an armed robbery charge. On Thursday, he was moved from his cell to attend the virtual court hearing in the same compound. It was during that hearing that he requested to use the washroom and instead bolted from the facility when the prison officer who was overlooking him left to go to one of the offices. The Guyana Police Force and the prison service have both expressed thanks to the persons who assisted with information about the whereabouts of the escapee. In the courts, days after being busted with over $1 million worth of marijuana by the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit in a quarantine house, 3 persons were taken before the court today to face drug trafficking charges. Appearing in the New Amsterdam Magistrates Court were 54-year-old Veronica Walker, 34-year-old Nishila Walker, and 30-year-old Simeon Lawson. The magistrate was told that the 3 were busted at their quarantine residence with more than 7 pounds of marijuana, which carried a street value of more than $1.1 million. The Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit was carrying out a drug enforcement operation in the region when a raid of the house was conducted. During the appearance this morning, the 54-year-old woman initially pleaded guilty, but changed her plea as the other 2 persons declared their innocence. The 54-year-old Veronica Walker was refused bail, while the other 2 accused, Nashila Walker and Simeon Lawson, were each granted bail to the tune of $250,000. The matter will continue later this month.
Hello, 31. Yes, 3-1. Almost on the calendar. For more than 3 decades, GTT has reliably connected this nation with innovative technology, products, and services. So we gotta celebrate in a major way. 31 prizes, 31 lucky winners. When you enter our promotion from January 20th to February 7th, simply top up $1,000 or more with MMG. Purchase a handset or SIM. Pay your GTT bill or activate any data bundle or plan for a chance to win a trip for 4 to the Rupinuni, free Amazon gift vouchers, free grocery vouchers, free food vouchers, dinner vouchers, top-up vouchers, MMG credit, and free family gym memberships. Hello, 31. Together we connect. Together we celebrate with GTT and win.
Simply Royal is pleased to announce the staging of the Miss Smash Queen Guyana 2022. We will select some of our most dynamic representatives to showcase our country's cultural and tourism attributes. Simply Royal celebrates our history of sending ambassadors to represent in the region and boasts 4 of the 6 crowns Guyana ever amassed. We now invite you to be a part of the Miss Smash Queen Guyana pageant as we celebrate after hard work.
Guyana's 2022 International Energy Conference and Expo under the theme Charting a Sustainable Energy Future will be hosted at the Guyana Marriott from the 15th to the 18th of February 2022. Meet and engage with energy leaders from around the world. The conference will feature addresses from His Excellency President Irfan Ali, His Excellency Vice President Bharat Jagdeo, Honorable Prime Minister Mark Phillips, His Excellency Chandrika Prasad Santoki, Honorable Prime Minister Mia Motley, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, and many other highly esteemed speakers. Charting a Sustainable Energy Future, Guyana's 2022 International Energy Conference and Expo.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
How fast is fiber? Think fast. GTT Fiber has 3 packages with download speeds of 50, 100, and 150 megabits per second. That's fast enough to stream movies and music, to chat with Gran and Fran, to study, and more. What would you do? Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Spanish energy firm Repsol South America said yesterday it will only finish cleaning up a large oil spill off the coast of Peru in late March, pushing back an earlier timeline it had set of late February. The company said its new timeline is optimistic. The new timeline revises what company executives had said as recently as Tuesday that cleaning the beaches and the ocean would finish in late February. One official said the March deadline was tied to removing remnant oil from remote rocky cliffs, which are harder to reach due to strong waves. The 15th of January oil spill of over 10,000 barrels of oil into the Pacific Ocean happened just north of Lima at Repsol's refinery there. Peru has called it the worst environmental disaster in recent memory, and prosecutors have barred 4 top executives from leaving the country for 18 months. Venezuela is moving troops to the border with Colombia with technical assistance from Russia and Iran, Colombia's defense minister Diego Molano has announced, calling the possible deployment foreign interference. Molano, citing intelligence sources, said troop movements were registered in Venezuela, opposite Colombia's Arauca province, the scene of fierce fighting between the guerrillas of the National Liberation Army and the FARC dissidents for control of the drug trade. Colombia's human rights ombudsman has reported that clashes between the illegal armed groups in Arauca left 66 persons dead and 1,200 displaced people in January alone. Fighting between the groups over control of drug trafficking and other illicit economies began in Venezuela and spread to Colombia, the Colombian minister indicated. And finally tonight, international news. China has joined Russia in opposing further NATO expansion as the 2 countries move closer together in the face of Western pressure. Moscow and Beijing issued a joint statement showcasing their agreement on a raft of issues during a visit by Russia's Vladimir Putin for the Winter Olympics in China. Mr. Putin claims Western powers are using the NATO defense alliance to undermine Russia. It comes amid tensions over Ukraine, which he denies planning to invade. Some 100,000 Russian troops remain at the border with Ukraine, which is a former Soviet republic. Mr. Putin, who has written that Russians and Ukrainians are one nation, has demanded that Ukraine be barred from joining NATO. While the lengthy joint statement did not refer directly to Ukraine, the 2 countries accused NATO of espousing a Cold War ideology. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe. Have a good weekend.